advanced analytics using AI visuals. What a wonderful situation to be in. All right, this person we are talking about is no other person but a very wonderful and unique individual who has actually shown his prowess in the big data industry over the years. All right, I'll just go ahead to read his profile to you guys. All right, so this person we're talking about is Mr. Olajide Idowu. All right, he's a business intelligence reporting expert and a data analyst consultant. He has worked with several organizations with a proven track record regarding data analysis, business development, human resources, operations, operations management, and administration. He presently serves as a PI consultant slash trainer and director of studies at Jari Computer Solution, Lagos, Nigeria. Right? Where he facilitates data analytics and related trainings for both corporate and individuals. He is also a BI consultant at Analytic Creation, a consulting and training firm. He has facilitated several trainings and trained over 25,000 participants. Whoa, over 25,000 participants, right? He has been involved in execution and implementation of several projects for corporate organizations like HR Metrics and Analytics for Dangote Group, right? Sales data report, sales dashboard for NBC and Red Project, OMS and application insights dashboard for Sterling Bank, right? Media report dashboard for Insight Communication, media monitoring dashboard for industry marketing executives, and many others. All right, Mr. Jide Olajide Idowu is a Microsoft certified trainer, a Microsoft certified solution associate, a Microsoft certified data analyst associate, Microsoft certified Dynamics 365 sales functional consultant associate, Microsoft 365 certified Teams administrator associate, and Microsoft Office specialist. Oh, what a wonderful and unique track record. Oh, wow. You can imagine, definitely you know you're going to be in a safe hand. Welcome, Mr. Olajide. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you for accepting our invite.
Thank you, Mr. Ari. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. Thank you once again, Mr. Ari. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. Uh, I believe you can hear me, Mr. Ari. Kindly
Yeah, I
let
can
me
hear you
know
loud
if you
and
can hear
clear.
me clearly.
Loud and clear. I can hear your wonderful
Oh,
sonorous
great.
voice that we're always looking
Thank you.
forward to hear on this platform. You're welcome, sir. The floor is yours now.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, great. Once again, I welcome everyone to this platform once again. We have started this and we want to continue the series. Now, Mr. Ari, kindly let's go back to the slides so that we can run from there. Thank you so much. Of course, as our custom, we will want to appreciate our sponsors. We have, quite a number of them. But at the moment, we just have Microsoft is one of our biggest fans. Of course, they are always there to sponsor us. We also want to say kudos to Gyre Computer Solution Enterprise. Of course, Enterprise DNA. We say thumbs up. Thank you for your support always. Please let's move to the next slide. Yes, if you have been following us, we have been doing quite a lot of things on Power BI, and this I believe this is week 7, and we want to take it a step further. What are we going to do today? We want to talk about some advanced analytics, of course, and AI visuals. AI meaning artificial intelligence visuals, and these are the highlight for us today. We will just talk about Power Query. There are some AI insights that we can get from Power Query, but the focus is going to be on the other ones. So let's move to the next slide, please. Thank you. Now, Power Query, for everyone that have started this journey with us, we know that Power BI has a kitchen that is called Power Query. What do I mean by the word kitchen? It is the place where we transform our data before we now bring it back or load it back to Power BI desktop. In that Power Query, we have some I mean, insights in Power Query. Of course, based on what you can see on the screen, you will see that we have uh, key phrases like key phrase to extract. We have language detection. We have image tagging. And you can see the requirement. I intentionally put it there so that we can have an understanding of what it requires for that to work. So premium capacity in terms of the license that we'll need to use. So our focus for today is not on this. Our focus is on the one that are in Power BI desktop. Please to the next slide. Now, one of the nicest AI visual that Power BI has in Power BI or that Microsoft embedded in Power BI is what we call Q&A, which simply means question and answer. It is very wonderful and fantastic in that it allows you to express yourself by just typing. Meaning, if you don't even know you have data and you just want to ask questions, you want to say, okay, who is our top 10 customer based on whatever, I mean, what you have in your data, you can express yourself just by this visual called Q&A to ask questions. Of course, we'll see that in the demo. Let's move to the next slide. We also have what we call key influencers. It's one of the nicest visuals that we have in Power BI desktop. Key influencers. What influences what? You want to check maybe your profit or your sales. You want to analyze your sales, your profit, or whatever it is that you want to analyze. You want to know what influences sales to be high or what influences sales to drop. With key influencers, you can actually see the root cause. Let's move to the next. We also have what we call the composition tree. With this decomposition tree, you want to know the root cause of something. What we are just trying to say is that Power BI is user friendly such that it has embedded some of this AI visual that will help you to make some findings without you stressing yourself. All you need to do is to put in the parameters that you want to check. And with the composition tree, it will decompose based on the parameter you have supplied and you have your result. Let's move to the next slide, please. Now, there's what we call anomaly detection. You want to check your data. When you put your data, you want to just check. Of course, most of the time, or majorly, you need to use line chart in under the visualization. When you have line charts, you want to see your date and either profits or sales, whatever thing you want to check. Now, when you have that visualized on a line chart, you want to dictate if there are periods where sales are high or low, and you just want Power BI with the help of this anomaly detection to help you check. Oh, I'm supposed to make maybe that day you're supposed to make 1 million naira worth of sales in Nigerian currency, and you just saw that you made like a 5 million. Of course, it can help you check, or maybe the sales was supposed to be this and it was this. With this anomaly detection, you can actually check why this is this. Now, let's move to the next slide, please. We also have what we call analyze. You want to generate more insight. You are seeing your report. Of course, in Power BI or in analytics, there are 5 things that are very important. We have descriptive, prescriptive. I mean, we have 5 of them, and you are the data is describing what is happening to the company right now, and you want to just know, okay, why is this happening? You want to analyze. You want Power BI to to help you check why is sales dropping in northern part, why is sales high in this. You just want to check, and with this nice visual that has been put or analytics that have been put, you can actually get to the root cause of that. Let's go to the next slide, please. Of course, we have smart narrative, one of the finest that we have. This tells you in words how it just brings some things to you in words to say, okay, so constitute 30% of these. This is why this is without you writing. Power BI looks into your report and just bring this insight out to you. And you just imagine you are presenting a report before your management and you are trying to say, okay, 99% of this constitutes to this and all of that. And they will just be like, what? Of course, there are two ways to get this. We'll see that when we do the demo. Let's move to the next slide. We are also going to look at trend line. Of course, I put a note here to say that you just want to see where there is a line that is showing disparity. It's just showing, it just cut across your graph. So you want to say, okay, this line, are we doing very well? Are we going up? Is our profit going up? Is our profit dropping? You just want to see the trend, the pattern. Of course, it's very important for every organization to see that, so that they want to be sure, are we going up? Is the business doing very well, or the business is coming down? So that if anything is happening, you just quickly want to check so that of course you can readjust. We are also going to see what we call forecast. What do we mean by the word forecast? Predictive analytics, to say, okay, based on historical trend, this year this is what we do, this is what we do, and let us see what we have been doing. So if this is how the pattern has been, like, okay, we want to see in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, where are we going to be, what is likely to happen to us. Of course, with the power that, I mean, is being embedded in this, with this what we call forecast or predictive analysis, you will be able to see. Of course, Fiber will be able to help you with that. So please, to the next slide. Thank you. So let us go right away into the demo. Thank you once again, Mr. Harry. Thank you everyone for being here. So I want to confirm, Mr. Harry, kindly confirm if you can see my screen.
Not yet, sir. I can't see it yet. All
Okay.
right, it's there now. It's up. Wonderful.
Oh, great. Thank you once again. So this is my screen. We have already gone through some stages, so I wouldn't need to go through that. We just want to go straight into what we want to do today. Now, just to show this part, I have some table loaded here. So here we have order date, order ID, order date, ship date, the ship mode. We have some information here. So each column holds something: segment, the country, the city, the state that activity happened, postal code, region. We have the product ID, we have product category, we have the subcategory, we have the name of the product. Of course, we have sales, we have cost of goods. So just for us to see that we have all of these already, these are the things we will have done while transforming data before loading. I mean, we'll have cleaned it, but of course, this has been, I just loaded this so that we just go straight into what we want to do. Now, the first thing I would like to show is what we call Q&A. It is very important that, of course, we do some modeling. When you load the data, you model the data in case you want to use another word. For instance, if you want to say client is also supposed to be called customer, so that when someone is searching through the report, they can, if they use client to say how many clients do we have, they see the same result as to someone that is also using how many customers do we have. Now, the first one I'll be showing is called Q&A. Where do we get to see this Q&A? Remember what our focus is today. It's all about AI visuals, insights, of course, advanced analytics and AI visuals. So Looking at my screen, you will see visualization pane where we have different type of visuals. Now, if I come to insert tab at the top here, because our focus is on AI visuals, now we see Q&A. You can see ask question about your data in natural language to create new visual. So I can pick it by clicking. When I click, it's going to appear here. It is also here. One of the nicest thing about Power BI is that one thing is positioned in many ways, and of course, it's one of the beautiful things that I always appreciate about Power BI. Now, so anywhere you can just click. So I will click Q and A. Now, when I click Q and A, it's preparing the question. Of naturally, it will just do some suggestions for me. Now, if you can see my screen clearly, you will see that there is a portion at the top of this that says ask a question about your data. All you need to do is to express yourself. For instance, let me just ask a question by saying, what is our total sales? What what is our total? So you can see it's also helping me underlining some things that I can't see, but we'll see shortly. Total sales. Now I type this. It's trying to check. You can see I only express myself. What is our total sales? And it's also suggesting what is our total sales and all of that. So it look at it and say, okay, from what I can see, there is sales, and this is your total sales. Why am I trying to show this? Just for you to see that you can express yourself and Power BI will bring results. I can continue to go further. What is our total sales by, let's say, by uh, city? Let's say city. As I'm typing, it's already showing list of city. Let me pick this so that we can see. New York. I mean, it's giving us this just by asking. That is why it is called question and answer, so you can express yourself. I could go ahead and say, okay, no, don't give me a city. I could say, okay, what is our total sales by state? So you can see I type state and all the states are also shown. I could go on. It doesn't matter what you're typing. As long as what you type is within your data set, Power BI will bring it up. I could say, okay, show by, that's what is our total sales by state as map. So when I say this, Power BI is going to quickly check and put this on the map. Now, it's showing this to see. You can see California, of course. The bigger the bubble, that means that California seems to have the highest sales. So this is just to show that with Q&A you can express yourself. We can continue, of course, but because of time, so that we can touch on other ones. So I could leave this way. Let me just leave it for us. Now, beautiful thing about this is that it's not yet a visual yet. It's just a question and answer. So I could go ahead and say, okay, this Q&A, turn this Q&A result into a standard visual. So when I click this button, then it becomes a standard visual. So let me just click. Now it's a visual. I got this just by asking question. So that is Q&A. And we can see the results. When you over your cursor on any of the bubble, it shows you, because the question I asked was total sales by state as map. Let's go to the next one. This one, which I tag analyze. Let me create a visual so that we understand what we mean. Let me use this visual. So I click on visualization pane and I select this visual called clustered column chart, and I'm going to make it bigger since that is the only thing I want to show here. Now, what do I want to put here? I want to be able to see my order date and sales. So I will come and expand this. I will look for order dates. So I tick and I want to check my sales. Now, this, what you are seeing right now, is the sales I make per year. I mean, this data is talking about it, not really me. So now in 2014, this is what we made. I mean, 2015, 2016, 2017. So if you take a look at this as a business owner, you want to say, okay, 2014, we made 484. In 2015, our sales dropped. Then it pick up in 2016, and of course, it's going this way. So whatever your concern is, maybe you want to check, what did we do here that made our sales to drop? You don't just present this and say, oh, that's all. No, no, no. It's not all. Power BI will help you bring out some things that you do not even know are lying down, just, I mean, that reside within your data. Then how do I analyze further? All I need to do is, okay, I can right click. So when I right click on this particular, I mean, bar, I can see a lot of things. But the emphasis here is to say, I put my cursor on analyze, and I can see two things are showing: explain the decrease or find where the distribution is different. Of course, if I click on find where distribution is different, immediately this comes up. Here are the filter that cause distribution of sales by year to change the most. I mean, it will just give us this insight. We're going to see that in a few seconds. It will just give us an insight as to, it will, of course, it's going to consider all that we have here. Just a moment, you will see that shortly. Great. So it's looking at, I mean, it's just giving you this. Just imagine you created a visual and you want to see where the distribution is different, and you have a lot of things. You can see Washington with 5.1% of record and all of that. Of course, you could go on and check. If you want to also add it, you can always add this. Now, let me show the other part. Now, if I come back here and say, okay, now that I've seen that, can I see why there is a decrease? Then I come to explain. Can you imagine? Power BI already knows that there is a decrease. Someone will want to say, how did he know? Anyways, he has seen it because we are talking about artificial intelligence that has been embedded here. So when I click this, it said here is the analysis of 2.8% decrease in sales between 2014 and 2015. Because he knows, he has an understanding that there was an increase there, and coming here, the decrease. So he's just trying to compare. So, of course, you want to, this is very important, very insightful. You want to say, okay, in 20, of course, increase is green, red is decrease, and of course total is blue. So this is total. So this is now the breakdown to say, okay, bookcase gave you this. I mean, you can see what is not doing well or what didn't, what made your sales to below. You can see the contribution of these supplies category, and of course look at this one too. I mean, machines that made your sales to drop. We're just trying to say that there are a lot of things just a click away that you can discover from this. There are a lot of, I mean, insights. This is just to say by product category. If you scroll down, you will see other ones. This is by product ID. This is by product name. So the product that is actually causing the problem for you, so that you can take decisions about it, maybe not to deal the product again. You can see customer, the customer that used to buy, you can see, and the customer that didn't, that is sale, the customer did not patronize you again. Of course, maybe there is something about the customer that has now dropped. So Power BI is bringing this out to you to let you know why your sales dropped that year. You can imagine all of this inside the city. You can see the city that is helping you and the city that caused the trouble. just for you to know. So we are, of course, let's say I need it, that this is very important because we want to present this to management so that they can be aware that okay, there is a particular city that, I mean, I could just go ahead and say, okay, pin this visual. So if I click on add to the page, if I click on this plus, then this visual becomes part of this my report. So let me click outside. I can then adjust this. Of course, if this is very important, if I adjust this, let me just adjust this, then I can say this is very important, so that when I'm talking about maybe city is important, if other things that you have seen are also important, you can pin them to, I mean, so that you can drive home the point. Let's move to the next one. Trend line. Trend, like we said in the slide, of course, you want to see the pattern, you want to see the trend of activity, how things, I mean, are moving. If you are okay, that means if the business is okay, you just want to be sure. Then we need, most of the time, of course, this is like time series analysis. So you want to use line chart. It's very important, so that you can see, break it down for you on daily basis, yearly basis, quarterly, whatever scenario you want to see. So I'm going to pick line chart. Let me also increase it so that it can be bigger. Get to see that. So what do I want to project here? I want to project, so let me use my order date because it has record of activity on daily basis. Let me also use versus my sales. Now, it's showing this way at the moment. It's showing, of course, on the yearly basis. We remember that what we just did in analyze, you can see that this place dropped. Now, I would want to see our activity on daily basis. I wouldn't just want to see on yearly basis. So what will I do? I want to see this. So I'll come to other dates. Then I'm going to drop this down. So when I do this, instead of date hierarchy, in case someone is trying to say what is the meaning of date hierarchy, normally date is an hierarchy, the hierarchy that we know, like in that order. So in date, we have year, we have quarter. I mean, all of those ones come together as date. You cannot say first of, you can't say first. It doesn't, people don't understand. So you want to say first of what? First of what? Okay, first of January. Of what? Of 20. So date is incomplete without all those elements. So I want to say no, don't show the hierarchy. Show me the date. Now we're going to see this. So this is the trend of activity. I mean, how you are doing on daily basis. So you now want to put a trend to say, okay, can I see a trend line to just help me to know the pattern, the trend? All I need to do is to say, I'll come to, you know what we are doing, AI and of course advanced analytics. Then I come to this button here, all right, like bat. All right, so I'm going to click on this. So when I click on this, I would see trend line. It is off. So if I on this trend line, then you see a line. You can see, but maybe it's not obvious. Let me change the color so that we can see. Let me just choose red, something that is obvious. Let me choose this. I hope it's obvious. Then maybe I can increase the, okay. I hope we can see this. So, Mr. Harry, kindly confirm. I just want to be sure everyone can see this line. If it is,
The trend line is a little bit faint,
yeah.
but we can have an idea of what it's doing.
So let me try and make it solid.
Make it solid.
Okay, so I hope it's obvious now.
Okay, it's better now.
I hope it's
It's better now,
okay.
visibly.
So of course, this shows the trend line. So this is very important. I mean, you want to see how you've been going. So that's trend line. So let's move to the next one. Of course, we have a few minutes more. So the next one we'll be looking at it is predictive analysis or analytics. We want to forecast. So let me use, of course, when it comes to time series, you want to make use of line chart most of the time. Sorry. Now, I'm going to visualize this and this. Then we are used to this now. We can say, let me see, break it down for me day by day. Okay. Now, with this, let's see, we'll go to the same place. So when of course, the visual must be selected. You can see that this is selected. If you click within the canvas, you will not see that analytics button or command. So, but if you select the visual, then this shows. Then it shows that you want to do something on this. Then I come here. When I click, because I use line chart. If you don't use line chart, you wouldn't see some features that are here. If you use, for instance, let me quickly change just to show. Let me change this. Okay, before I change, let's take a look first. Take a look at this. You can see forecast. You can see forecast. So let me come up and say, no, show this as column. So if it's showing this as column and I go back here, if I scroll down now, you are not seeing forecast. In case someone is saying, why am I using line chart? If you use area chart and I go back and you can see, that means you need to use line chart. That's what I'm trying to paint out. So now I will just go back to my line chart. Then I can come back here. Then I see my forecast. So if all I need to do is to turn it on. I'm trying to tell Power BI that I want to predict. I want to, immediately I turn it on, you can see that, okay, let me turn it off. Now it's off. The last sales here is, let's say 30th of December 2017. Now, if I turn this on, it's just going to say that, okay, I think you want to do something. Yeah. So when I scroll down, I would see some things. Now, unit meaning points. I just saying I should pick. So what does this unit means? You want to project, you want to forecast, you want to do prediction. I mean, how many months, how many years, how many days in that order. So it's saying, so please, if you, whatever you choose, of course, let's say for instance, if I choose year. So if I'm going to predict for 2 years, I need to type 2 year since I'm choosing year. So if I'm going to predict for 1 year, then I have to type 1. So if I choose quarter, of course, if you want to predict for quarter, you know what to do, that parameter. Maybe you want to say, okay, just 2 quarter. So let's say I want to do for days. If you put month, maybe 12, 12 months is a year. So we need to understand that. So if I pick days, then how many days? So if I say 365, that means for a year. Now, so let's just do for a year. But if I want more than 1 year, of course, 365 times 2. So, but let's just say I could go back and pick here. But if I put 365 here, 365. So ignore last, how many? Do you want to ignore days? Do you want to ignore maybe 60 days, 90 days, 30 days? That's of course a month. To say maybe something happened that you don't want the analytics to consider that month, you want it to take that. So you can choose that. You can just determine, previous month something happened that of course affect the business. You don't want the analytics to consider that. But for the sake of this demo, we will just leave it. Seasonality is just to say season. So depending on what you choose, season is just to say the cycle, which is of course a season for a year is to say 12 months. So whatever you choose, Power BI automatically knows the season. Now, confidence interval, what does it mean? Confidence interval, I could just use a layman language, say, how sure are you? What you are telling us, what you want to predict, how sure are you? So whatever thing you put, of course, confidence interval will just help you to say, okay, your sales will be this. I'm very sure, maybe 70% sure that it will be this, or 95% sure that it will be this. Why would this work? Of course, Power BI has studied the pattern of what has happened and is just going to use that to predict. Now, let me say apply. So when I click on apply, It's going to extend it. Remember that we put 365 days, meaning that whatever we see here will not exceed 2019. So you can see 2017 was the end of the business. So from here, 2018 started, January then, just to see. Now, if you take a look at this, meaning that it's saying on August 24th of August 2018, your sales based on, historical strength, we are forecasting that you will make sales of 3,036, and if anything happens, you could make 10,000. That's the upper band. And if economy, whatever, any other situation happen, you cannot, of course, you could incur loss, but you cannot exceed this. So in case you are wondering what's the meaning of upper band and the lower band, but the forecast one that you are seeing is telling you based on what has been happening, this is what you will make. There could be some magic that happens you could make, but you cannot exceed 10,000. This is just to let you know that this is predictive analysis, and of course, with this, you can actually have an idea of what will likely happen. So, if I'm telling you that your sales cannot be more than 10,000 to 3,000, you just want to say, okay, how sure am I? 95% sure that this will likely happen. So, this is predictive analysis. Let's go to anomalies. I'm looking at my time now. Anomalies detection is to, you will check through your data and see, you will just see that this thing that's supposed to be here, but there are some things that happen that is abnormal. It's just strange. So what do we do? Of course, let me still use my line chart. So I'm gonna make it bigger. Just a moment. And let's use, okay, let's use same other dates, and we also use our, it could be profit, it could be sales. I just want to stay, and I don't want it this way. I want my date broken down in days. Now that I have this, so I would go back here. Remember, this must be selected. So if I click here, then if I scroll down, I will see find anomalies. So when I on this, you would see, let me expand this. Immediately I on this, I am sure that we could see some things showing that on this day, sales, your sales skyrocket. Normally, what we expect that you make is like $1,581, but you made a total sales of 28. That is abnormal. That is strange. So anytime you see all of these points, it's just showing you that those are the sales that are abnormal. So you might want to say, okay, now that this happened, you want to, okay, let me know what really happened that day that made this to be this. So of course, if you click on this point, if I can double click. So if I click, then it's going to show here. Just a moment, this will show. Good. Oh, delete this. Good. Now you just click the point and this shows. Now it's already telling me that sales was unexpectedly high on 8th of September 2014. It had a value of this, which is above the expected this. You can see. Telling us already, explaining the reason. You can see possible explanation. Now, all I need to do is to go down. Just imagine I'm presenting and management is asking me, this report is very high. Like, what led to that? What happened? All I need to do is to use anomalies. And with the help of anomalies, it's going to look at the data sets, all elements within the data and come up with something, of course, anything that you can find. Now, it's saying that there is this salesperson called Anna that there is 16%. What she did was 16% high. You can see salesperson called Anna 100 was unusually high. That means that salesperson, of course, if you have such a salesperson, you want to, I'm not saying you should there, but you want to, of course, motivate them. I mean, to say, oh, your performance. I mean, maybe that day, maybe the something happened that motivated her, and of course. So you see, that's one of the reasons. Of course, see, state Washington also contributed 3%. Of course, you can see the city. I mean, it's just going to bring all of this. Why are we showing it? Just for you to see that just something that just a click away. You can imagine you just use this and you're explaining something, and people are looking at you. Oh, Mr. Harry, wonderful, wonderful. They did not know that Power BI or Microsoft have positioned this to help you to make life easy. All right. So let's move to the next. So I can just close this part. Let's look at key influencer. Looking at my time. Like we said in the slide, what influences what? You just want to check, I mean, some things. So I click insert the other time, insert tab at the top, and we can see the AI visuals. And I also said that they are also here. So wherever you pick them, does not matter. So if I click key influencer, it's just going to show. Now, let me make it bigger. So for every visual you are using, they are talking to you by this side. They say, what do you want to analyze? You can see a field you want to analyze, summarize the field, and then how do you want me to help you explain it? So let's say I want to analyze my sales. So, or I want to analyze my profit. So this time, let me say, okay, profit. So when I take profit, if you take a look at my visual, let me make it a bit bigger. You will see somewhere here is saying what influences profit to increase. You will see if I drop it down, you can see increase or decrease. What make or what influences profit to increase? What influences profit to decrease? So if I say, for instance, let me pick decrease. I want to know why there is decrease. Explained by what? So let's say I want to see why. Let's say I want to see city. So I could tick or drag. So when I tick this, it comes here. Maybe I also want to look at the country. You can see that I'm clicking. Okay, maybe I should just explain that. So when I tick city, immediately I tick city, it's saying that Philadelphia. It said, what influences profit to decrease? It said, when what? City is Philadelphia. You can see that's what you're seeing here. Profit is more likely to decrease when city is Philadelphia than others. That means that city is killing your profit. Profit is, you can see, when profit is Philadelphia, you can see this screen tip. When profit is Philadelphia, profit is 57.5, then lower compared to others. I'm just trying to say that key influencers is just telling what influences decrease in profit. That this city will be careful. Of course, you could go on and put some more. Let me put country. It's going to look at if you could find one. So you could, of course, you just to say explain all of these by these and all of that. So if I say product category, it could be all of these. You could explain just to say it's going to check if you find some things. So as many things as you want to check, of course, it's just going to look at. But meaning that basically, I think CT constitutes most of the things. So that's why let me check if there is any customer that influences profit to decrease. So you could continue. I mean, you could just check now. So meaning that you can see CT. So you want to be careful. You can imagine you want to be careful about this. So see this key influencer. Now there is another one called the composition tree. The composition tree is just going to help you. Okay, if you want to look at a tree, tree has stem, branches, and all of that. I mean, either up, down, down, up. So the composition tree just help you decompose, break it down. So let's pick the composition tree just to see how this works. Now, so Mr. Ari kindly confirmed that the screen is still visible.
The screen is still visible. Very,
Thank you, sir.
very.
Thank you.
But one, we have less than 15 minutes to go, so we can also give time for question and answer. Just
Yes,
bring that to your
yes,
notice.
yes, please. So please, if you have questions, we can be dropping them so that we can take care of that. After this is just the last one. So you can see I'm kind of trying to catch up just to ensure we
All
do
right,
not spend more time. So let's take a look at,
right, no problem.
okay, let's explain our sales. So I could also pass in a lot of parameter. Let's say I want to see region. I want to see city. I'll just limit it to yes. So let me just okay. Let's say maybe there is product category. So let me just limit it to this. Now, when I add all of this, it knows I want to analyze sales. Of course, the other time we use K&A, remember K&A showed that our sales is 2 point something million. So immediately I'm adding, there is one icon which is plus. You can see choose how to split. So if I click on this plus, do you want to check I find the field with the highest? You want to explain sales. Do you want to see what contribute to high sales? Excuse me, or what contribute to low sales based on this parameter you have supplied? So let's say I want to see why is our sales low. So if I choose this, I choose low. Now, he already said that this based on the city, right? You can see the contribution. He is going to help you decompose contribution of each of these. All right, how they contribute. One, I mean, just for you to see that there are a lot of things. It will just decompose down, break everything down from the list, from the state that contributes the least. I mean, to your sales. So if I go ahead and say, okay, let me even see. Let's say I want to see anyone, and I click on this plus. I want to see, okay, maybe low or high. Since this one, let's say I want to see the high. What affect this? So it's saying, oh, there is a product category that is called office supply. The office supply is the one that has significantly high impact on the low on why this city is performing low. I could go on, of course, and also decompose to say, okay, office supply. Is there any? I mean, I could just go on. So this is the composition tree, just to look at our time, so that we can take care of questions. So let me come to smart narrative, which is the last that I will be talking about. Now, I already put some things, of course, because of time. We have some visuals. This is says by other dates, says by year. I mean, just have some things here. Now, smart narrative is one of the AI visual. As a, I mean, as a data analyst or someone that creates or I mean deal with data set and do report, you don't just want to visualize. Anyone can visualize. You want to put a note. You want your report to have a note that, I mean, so that when someone just read that note, it just summarize the whole thing. I mean, at a glance. Now, there are two ways. If I want to put, of course, you can also type by clicking on text box, but that is not why we're here. So if I just, because I have reports, I mean, some visuals on this page, I could just click on smart narrative. It's also here. So when I click, it's going to look at this screen, this page, and quickly summarize. So let me just click this button. When I click, it's going to start working. So it's going to come up with some things that you can see based on what I report. In just a moment, it's going to show that shortly. It's taking time. Just give it some time. Great. Now, I'll make it bigger. I'll increase the size also. This is one way of doing this. So let me stay here and say Control A, Control A, so that I can be a bit bigger so that we can see and increase it to let's say 20. So let me read. Says sales trended up, resulting in four in a four. I mean, you can see 4,200 and this percent between Friday and this. And my point here is that because it says jump up, is to say that when you put smart narrative, of course, the word smart narrative is just the narration of what is here. And with this, of course, you want to start your presentation and say, okay, since as the most significant anomaly, a high of this and that on Tuesday, since experience the longest period of growth. If you want to start this, I mean, you want to add this to your page, just know that the boardroom people will listen to you. They will just want to hear you because it's fact and it's in, I mean, percentages in figures. Now, is there any other way? Of course, you might want to say maybe you do not, you just want to summarize the report. Let me click within the canvas. So I could go ahead also and do that on any of this. If I right click just to show another way, if I right click on this, I could see summarize. So if I summarize, maybe I just want to summarize this. When I click this, you can see it's also summarizing this for me. So smart narrative we also talk about. You can see sales trended up and all of that. So thank you everyone. Mr. Ari, any question? So that
Thank
is
you for this session, Mr. Jide. We
thank you.
don't have any questions yet. Uh, well, while you were having the session, yeah, something just dawned on me, right? Let me quickly share that with you, sir. Are you there? Right? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I'm with you, please.
All right. So I was just wondering, yeah. I just remembered my early days as a data analyst when I was going to venture into data science, right? So I discovered while I was studying, I was doing a research of how to become a data scientist, what you need to learn, and all of that. I discovered there was this long list of courses you need to do, and then there was one article I read that said you need to have at least a doctorate degree in computer science, at least a doctorate degree. So it was very funny, yeah. But funnily, today, all those things we're going to do, right? With the you can imagine when you showed us trend line and you showed us forecasting, I was just smiling deep within me. Why? Because yeah, you can imagine the amount of statistics and machine learning algorithm that will go into that for you to be able to predict.
Yeah.
All right. So when you do time series analysis, for example, and you begin to check a lot of other things, begin to do your moving average, your you need to go through all those long processes to actually do this thing. I think Microsoft has done a great deal of
Awesome.
job to actually
Awesome.
make us to be able to do all of
Yeah.
this on Power BI. If only I wish our viewers will take some time to go research on how to do just carry out see what you did with time series analysis within few seconds, right? Just go and do research on how to carry out time series analysis using say Python, for example, or
Yeah.
see how actually what are the statistics that are involved in carrying out time series analysis. But look at what you did using Microsoft Power BI within few seconds. Oh wow, what a great deal of job. Thank you very much for actually sharing this insight. Like I said earlier to our viewers, if you remember at the beginning, I said this is one person that I know has a very good heart, and he will pour out everything. I mean, everything he knows, just for you to actually get better. All right. So thank you very much for sharing these insights. I'm very sure our viewers will really be very happy and will actually appreciate this very particular knowledge you've shared. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Jude. All
Thank
right.
you.
So our viewers, please check. You're welcome, sir. So you could, our viewers, please go to the comment section. Right, you would see our feedback form. All right. See, we want to know how we are performing and how we can serve you guys better. All right. So please fill the feedback form to let us know how we are performing currently, how we can do better, and what you would like to learn in the long term. Thank you very much, Mr. GJ. I don't know if you still have any other question, please share in the comment section. There's nothing you want to bring as regards business intelligence that our speaker today cannot deal with. That I can assure. At least you've seen what he has done today. That I can assure you of. All right. So even along the line, if you drop questions after now, we'll still reach back out to him to actually answer the questions and then drop on the comment section. Hope that's fine, sir, Mr. GD.
Of course, yes, please. It is. We always
All
respond.
right.
We always help us further. So if there are questions, if I mean, when we see it, we will definitely reach out to you and respond.
All right.
Thank
Thank you
you
very
once
much.
again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jide. God bless you. All right. So, if without further ado, if we don't have any other questions, or Mr. Jide, we still have like 3 minutes. Maybe there's one thing you want to tell us. Yeah, there's one question I would usually love to ask our speakers whenever they come on board, which is this. All right. So, I want to ask like a newbie into data science. I see all this magic you perform. Trust me, you look like a soothsayer. You look like a voodoo person doing all of that. Right? It's like you're doing magic.